Well, the Republicans are trying to recall Governor Polis again, and an ad in Colorado's U.S. Senate race is now getting national attention.
A lot happening in Colorado politics. Political specialist Shaun checks in with our analyst for a weekly reality check.
As the election draws closer, the ads are hard to keep up with. The latest by Republican incumbent Cory Gardner getting national attention. The ad is about his new bill that he says would protect coverage for people with pre-existing conditions. I gave the ad a reality check earlier in this newscast, but let's find out what our analysts have to say about it. Republican Dick Wadhams, Democrat Mike Dino. Good to see you guys. So, Dick, I'm going to start with you. This ad features Gardner's mom, who is one of those who has a pre-existing condition. Is it effective?
I think it's very effective. It's a highly personal story that Cory is telling. And also, I think Cory's sincerity really comes out in the ad. And I think it really puts to rest this Democratic charge that Republicans want to kill pre-existing conditions. I think Cory does a really good job in it, yes.
Mike, what do you think? Does he come across as sincere?
Well, listen, anytime you have your mother in the ad, that's a big deal. I always used to get my mother, she rode around with me in parades when I ran for the Board of Regents. But I think it does gloss over that in 2017, he had a chance to support Obamacare and pre-existing conditions. And what this ad doesn't say is, does Donald Trump or Mitch McConnell support his bill that he talks about in the ad? And he's been so closely aligned with Trump and McConnell that if he loses by 2 percentage points, the margin he won in 2014, it'll be because of his close alignment with the president and with Mitch McConnell.
He just introduced this bill last week as no co-sponsors at this point. So let's talk about this latest recall effort against Governor Polis. It's like another year, another recall effort. This one has to do with how he closed businesses and churches because of COVID. Mike, will it gain any more traction than the last one, you think?
No. I think there's a fringe group of people that are just agitated that, one, Jared Polis is our governor, two, that he's a Democrat, and they want to continue to express their outrage about what they see. And we've even seen some of the Republican legislators chime in with lawsuits about the governor's supposed overreach on how he's handled the COVID pandemic. But by and large, Governor Polis has gotten high marks across the board as it relates to, what he's done. And I think it's evident. Costa Rica has allowed one of the few states, Colorado, to travel to its country versus, most of the other states are banned from traveling there. So I think that in itself shows that he's doing the right thing.
Dick, do you think this shows at all that he might be vulnerable in a couple years? I mean, this is 2 recalls in 2 years.
Yeah, first of all, I would not advise a recall at this time. It's a waste of resources, and we need to focus on defeating him in 2 years. And Shaun, I do think he is vulnerable. 2 years from now, he's going to have to tell us why he allowed the horrible deaths we saw in nursing homes, when the state of Colorado and the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment just walked away from nursing homes for weeks until he finally got enough pressure to spend some time dealing with the problems there. The way he just left the Capitol totally vulnerable to desecration and destruction for night after night after night, until finally prodded by Governor Bill Owens to say something, he finally did. This guy is going to be very vulnerable in 2 years. That's where we need to focus.
All right, we're going to have to leave it at that. Thank you, guys. And if, like me, you can't get enough of Dick and Mike, we have posted all of their reality checks on CBSDenver.com.